Alright, welcome to the first edition of the Fireside Chat. I want to thank you for tuning in and seeing what I have to offer. The first thing I want to discuss is what is this channel? What is this channel about? And what is this channel planning to do? Well, this channel is today's homesteader. And basically, by the name, is what we're about. It's homesteading in today's society and future. The channel is going to discuss all different topics on homesteading, gardening, animals, livestock, solar, how I live my life, the ideas that I've come up with, the pros and cons to homesteading, the mistakes that I've made, mistakes that I can help you avoid, and ways of helping you become a homesteader. I started homesteading about 5.5 years ago. My name is Johnny Jules. I'm about 29 years old. I'll be 30 come February next month. I started off at 24 years old due to some unfortunate circumstances. In 2011, when the economy collapsed in the U.S., I had 4 companies running and multiple employees, which I ended up shutting down the companies, and I had to lay off the employees. I also lost my house in foreclosure. I bought my first house at 19 years old and made all those payments for all those years. And when I found out that I was going to lose my house, I decided that it was time to find land. Because worst case scenario, being homeless, I didn't want to sleep under a bridge. I decided the better option was find land and camp on it. People have survived on land for thousands and thousands of years. In tents, in buildings, in sod houses, in earthships, in all different forms. And I decided my best option, instead of sleeping under a bridge, is buy some land that I could afford, start gardening, and possibly build a house. What I did, I went on Remax. I went on Craigslist. I went on Pink Realty. I went on Century 21. I went on Keller Williams. I went on all the different sites trying to find land. I found this property on Craigslist. It wasn't marked for price, and I came out with the owner and looked at the land. The land is 2.5 acres. It's on the side of a mountain. It's 45 to 50 degree slope. And I got it for $2,000. And a lot of you are thinking, wow, $2,000, that's it. Well, to tell you the truth, there's a lot of land for less than $10,000. You can find land out here by me all day, every day for $5,000 to $6,000. All you got to do is get out and look. Now, yes, you're wondering, why is the land so cheap? Well, we're 40 miles from a Walmart. Most people don't want to be that far from town. But if you're looking at being self-reliant and being able to survive on your own and not need money, then homesteading's the way to be. It's peaceful, less stress, and gives you more time. I started in 2011. I found the land in June. I closed on the land in June of 2011. I built myself a hobo tarp tent, and I started living in that. I lived in that for a few months until I got sick because it had snowed in July and August, and I was wet. My clothes were damp. I couldn't stay dry. I couldn't stay warm, and it was a hard lesson. But luckily, I had a really nice neighbor call me up one day, heard my voice, came up the side of the mountain, and told me, "You're coming back to my house," which that's what I did. And the next morning, him and his wife discussed with me that I was staying with them, rent free. They fed me 3 meals a day. They took me places. They treated me like family. And over these years, they became my mom and pa. They're like my adopted family that I have here in the mountains. Except they moved this year. So now it's a long distance relationship. But they took me in for 3 months. And Dan helped me build the first edition, which was 12 by 20 interior dimensions. And I moved into my first structure December 1st of 2011, which was amazing. I went from making 6 figures in 2010 to being homeless to owning my own land and my first house that I built with cash for, not for free, but, it became freedom. I didn't have a mortgage. I didn't have everything you have in the city. When I started, I was receiving 30% disability through the VA. I was prior U.S. Air Force, which I was honorably discharged under medical condition. And out of that $395 a month, I put $200 a month into building supplies. The $195 left over was my cell phone, car insurance, food, and gas for my generator, which when I first started living in my house, I could run the generator for about 30 to 45 minutes a day, which I use that to charge my laptop, my cell phone, run some power tools, and a little DVD player. So I had my cell phone to keep me occupied at night. I had my laptop that I could watch movies on, and when that died, I had my DVD player. I lived that way for about a year and a half until I got plumbing. And once I got the plumbing in, then I used the generator for my well pump and pressure tank, so I had water pressure. And then about a year after that, I was able to borrow some money from my grandfather, who gracefully let me borrow about $18,000 for solar. And now I have what you have in the city. I have a washing machine, a dryer, I have a fridge, a freezer, microwave, toaster oven, a stove, TV, internet, laptop, lights. Everything you have in the city, I have out here. The best part is, with the solar, I have no electric bill. I did a rain catchment system because trying to drill a well up here is between 17 to 18,000. So I decided Mother Nature gives us free water. Why not take advantage? So all my roofs on my house, my goat barn, my chicken coop are all metal. I did gutters, downspouts, and I bought a whole bunch of 275-gallon IBC totes that collect the water off of each roof. And so far, the water, the snow, the rain gives me enough to live on. Gives me enough for the animals, for the vegetables that I plan on growing, etc., etc. The thing about homesteading is you have to be able to sacrifice in the start. Unless you have a lot of money. If you have a lot of money, you can buy land, you can have the house put on, you can have somebody come in, put in pens, fencing, the whole 9 yards. But in my case, I did not have a lot of money. I sold my furniture and I sold some silver, and that gave me the $2,000 to buy the land. After that, I started selling some of my gold jewelry that I had for building supplies. And then my most valuable piece was my solid gold watch, which I sold for, I believe, $1,600, and that installed all of my plumbing. That was the hot water heater, that was the water lines, that was the connectors, the pressure tank, the well pump, the whole 9 yards. So if you're starting with a little bit of money, the first thing you need to do is you need to be strict. You need to say, okay, I have $200 a month that I can put to the side. You need to take an envelope, label it, do not spend. You put that $200 in there every month. And guess what? After 10 months, you could have bought this property for $2,000. $200 a month for 10 months. So in less than a year, you can own your own property. Once you own your own property, you do the same thing again. $200 a month, or $100 a month, or $50 a month. Whatever you can afford. Stop going to the movies. Stop going out to dinners. Stop wasting it on alcohol, tobacco, cigarettes, dip, drugs if you're doing drugs. Change your life. Be happy. Less stress. I've found everybody that I've met on YouTube, in person, and in different states that are homesteading are some of the most happiest people in the world. And I had learned that. Like I said, in 2010, I was making six figures. I was taking trips out to Vegas, buying custom tuxedos and pinstripe suits and expensive gold jewelry. And I was loving life. I was partying. I had all these friends. I was going out drinking, gambling. You know, living the life that we're taught we should live. That's not the case. The hardest part for me when it came to homesteading was dirt. When I moved into my first addition, there was dust everywhere. There was dirt everywhere. You drive down dirt roads. You get out on a dirt driveway. You walk down dirt paths to get into the house. That dirt comes in the house. Then it dries. Then it becomes dust. Then it's everywhere. When I was living in Colorado Springs, I had a maid that came in several times a week and cleaned my house. I had a laundress that did my laundry. And I was used to the high life. You know, the more money you make, the more you want, the more money you need. And with homesteading, yes, it takes a good amount of money if you want to do it a certain way. You can always buy, or you can always find free items on Craigslist or other sites online. But my idea was I bought all my building material brand new because I want my house to last 200 years. I did my house right. I build my fences right. I do the chicken coops, the goat barns right. And you will see throughout the journey as I finish the goat barn this year, finish the chicken coop this year, that if you do it properly, the buildings will last and you're not rebuilding every 5 to 10 years, or you're not doing fencing every 4 to 6 months. If you do it right the first time, you don't have to do it again, then you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the homestead. You can become a lazy homesteader like I am. Now, I will tell you, my goal is I got 10 years and 1 month till I hit 40 years old. My goal is within that 10 years and 1 month to have this homestead completely, basically maintenance free. All I will have to do is water, feed, stuff like that, and go out, pick my vegetables, butcher the animals. But as for building, that will be complete. As for fencing, that will be complete. As for building animal enclosures, that will be complete. A shed, that will be complete. I will have no labor, really, when I'm 40 years old. Hopefully. That's my goal. And over the next 10 years, you guys will hopefully stay on board and follow the journey as we take it together. And hopefully through the comment section and email and whatnot, we can get to know each other and possibly get you to become a homesteader and help you out, or just simply get you to do a garden in the city. I mean, look at vegetable prices. Vegetable prices are expensive. The healthier the food, the more expensive it is. If you can do your own garden at your house, you're not buying vegetables. That's saving you money. If you just save $50 a month on vegetables, what could you put that $50 into? You could put that $50 into new soil to make the garden better next year. You could take that $50 to buy plastic and cover it with a hoop house design that would give you another month in the spring for your sprouts, and give you another month in the fall before the cold winter sets in. It's about becoming more self-reliant, more self-sufficient, and being able to survive on your own without anybody else. And my thing is, right now I get 60% through the VA, which is $1,069 a month, or $62 a month. And I am not working. And a lot of people cannot live on $1,000 a month. But you got to look at how homesteading works. I have solar, no electric bill. I have rain catchment, no water bill. I built my own septic, no sewer bill. So what do I have? I have cell phone that I can't get rid of. I have car insurance that I can't get rid of. And then the other necessities, food bill, because I'm not self-sufficient yet. And then gas to drive my car, and propane to run my generator, my hot water heater, and my stove. Besides that, I have minimum bills. And by living the way I'm living, I can take $500 a month now and put it into the homestead. And that's what I'm doing. Every month, I do a new project. I take $500, I sink it into the next thing. For January, I sunk it into fencing. For February, it will be fencing and working on insulating the goat barn and the chicken coop better, and getting that ready to be sealed up so then next winter it's completely done for the animals. And it's just becoming more self-sufficient, self-reliant. When it comes to you homesteading, what you should do is go out into the areas where you have woods, where you're, 25, 30, 45, 50 miles away from the city. Drive down dirt roads. There's for sale signs everywhere. There's people hurting in this economy. People are selling properties cheap. You don't need to buy a homestead with a house that's $200,000. Go out and buy a 1-acre plot. Don't put a house on it. Till the ground, make a garden. That's food that you're coming up with, and that's saving you grocery bill. Then you take that grocery bill money and you turn that into a barn. And then you add chickens out there, and the chickens work in your garden. And then you move up, buy a travel trailer off Craigslist for $200-300. Put that on there. Then it's a weekend getaway. You work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Go to the homestead, Saturday and Sunday. Sleep in the camper trailer. It's camping, but it's getting you used to it. One of the biggest things that I think is the most difficult for homesteading is not being able to socialize. A lot of people go out into the woods and they lose the connection with people because they're used to dealing with people all the time. So if you go out on the weekends, you can get comfortable. You go out Saturday, Sunday for a camping trip. Then you come back, you see people all week. Then you start going out for 3 days or 4 days. When you have Christmas break or Thanksgiving break, if you have days off work. take it out in the mountains. One thing you will find out is you will become happier. You will become more relaxed. You will become less stressed. And it will be a healthier way of life. I think, or I don't think, I know for sure, me making six figures in 2010 to coming out here in 2011 on $395 a month. Yes, it was extremely hard for about the first 3 to 6 months. But after that, I can tell you I would never go back to the city to work. And one of the reasons is the simple fact that when you're in the city, you go to a job and people don't do the financial planning, the thinking, everything that's associated with it. And that is, you go to a job, you work 1 hour, okay? And say you get paid $10 an hour. Out of that 1 hour, you only receive about 25% of that benefit. So for that hour that you worked, you were only really paid $2.50. And some of you who hate your job, it's just stupid to do the same job working for somebody else. Now, how I come up with the conclusion of you only getting 25% is the simple fact that that $10 is cut off because you got to pay taxes. So you lose 33% to taxes. Okay? So you're like, oh, that's more than 25% of what I receive. But then you got to look. How do you get to work? You most likely drive to work. So when you drive to work, you got brand new tires, which cost you how much money? You got oil changes that cost you how much money? You got tags and titles. You have insurance. You have the cost of the vehicle. Then you have normally a work outfit, or you buy clothes for work. So then you have the clothing. You have your time of waking up in the morning, and then your drive time. If you live 30 minutes from work, that's 30 minutes to work, 30 minutes back. That's an hour of free time you're giving that employer because you are driving to work and from work without pay. If you homestead, you get 100% of the benefit. If you work 1 hour putting a fence up for chickens, so you have a chicken pen, you receive the benefit of a chicken pen after that hour of work. If you go out and chop firewood, you receive that full 1 hour's worth of work. You are not deducted because whatever effort you put into doing around the homestead is effort that is going to be paying you back for however long. The firewood might last you a month. The firewood might last you a week. But building a chicken pen that lasts for the next 30 years gives you eggs and meat for the next 30 years. Where at that job, you make that $2.50 and you spend it and it's gone. You've received no benefit after that. Unless you take that $2.50 and invest it every single time you make the money, which you don't. You go out, you pay utilities, you pay mortgage, you pay car payments, you pay insurance, you pay everything. So that money is never saved. And that's why I recommend you take a little portion of your money and you invest it into homesteading. Buy a piece of land. Buy a little trailer for weekend getaways. And then year after year, put the money to the side until you're set up. One way I'm learning is that $1,000 a month I have, I spend $200-300 a month in food. Hopefully this year I will be gardening minus the gardening I'm doing in my bathroom right now. I'll be gardening outside for the first time, which I will get into canning this year. And the more food I can produce, the less money I spend at the store. And the less money I spend at the store is the less money that I need. And that is my goal. In the next 10 years, I will be self-sufficient. I will have enough feed to feed my animals where I don't have to go to the feed store and buy feed. My garden will feed me, my animals will feed me, and it will be a circle of life. Starting in 2018, I will be getting honeybees and I will be getting hogs for bacon and hams and pork chops, things like that. The honeybees will help flowers grow. I'll let some of my crops go to flowering so they can produce better crops. I will also get honey from that. And the honey I'll be able to sell along with my chicken eggs that I'm selling. And then I also plan on selling animals. This year I'm hoping to hatch out baby chickens and baby ducks, and I'll be selling those. When I get hogs in 2018, I'll go ahead and get either 3 or 4 of them. And I've already talked to someone, and I can trade one hog in to the butcher for the butcher to butcher my hog for free. So that's another big key in homesteading is barter and trade. If you can find people to barter and trade, it doesn't cost you money. The less money you need and the more barter and trade you need, the less you need that job in the city. Think about it. Prior to where you are now, back in the 1600s, 1500s, 1800s, 500, 800, they all lived without going to a job 5 days a week, working overtime, working 2 jobs, working 3 jobs. Look at America. We were founded on homesteaders. People went out west, they got a piece of land, they built their own house off of the land, they bartered, they traded, they lived happy. Yes, they don't have all the conveniences, but if you continue to hold a part-time job to make, say, $1,000 a month like I make, then you can buy conveniences like I do. But the more you homestead, the more you become self-reliant and self-sufficient, the better off you are, and the less money you need in the long run. And the less money you need in the long run makes you happier, makes you less stressed, and just puts your mind at peace. If you have any comments or questions after this first episode, leave them in the comment box down below. The fire is going out, so I'm going to have to restoke the fire. And I'll say the next episode, the next topic for the next episode will be solar, water, and heat. And we're going to how you can become self-reliant in those 3 categories, what I've done, what mistakes I've learned, and how it can help you out. And we're going from there. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Put any comments or questions in the comment box below. And have a great night. Live happy, live free. That's the only way to be.